gentlemen, welcome to episode Dead Drop of the Eavesdrop podcast. Legendary 402, integral part of one of the best video games ever existed up until now. Call of Duty 4, one of my favorites ever. And we have my man Quinn at the end with the Superfly jacket.
Nice.
Welcome to Arlington, Texas.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks, man. This is incredible. Look at this.
I still can't hear them.
Insane.
No, the crowd. Yeah, I'm used to the crowd being all the way to the back. We just had our major here.
Yeah.
Massive success. Some of the people in this crowd were already here. Am I right?
Yep. Right there. See that guy?
Some of them I take notes, lists, see who's naughty, see who's nice, and then maybe we'll get some presents at the end of the year. But I do appreciate you guys coming here. Super exciting times. Obviously, this game is the talk of the town. Has been for a while since the announcement. I'm as excited as ever. I want to hear everything about it. I want to know about the Web3 integration that's going to happen with this thing. I want to know it all. So why don't we start with you, Quinn? Why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, just about myself. I mean, yeah, you just introduced me, Hex. I really appreciate it. I've never been introduced by Hex before, so that's really cool. Nice. Yeah, I'm Quinn, and I'm creative director, co-founder at Midnight Society. Super happy to be here. I've been in the game industry for about 15 years. Worked on quite a few titles as well, Halo, Gears of War, just to name a few. But yeah, just really excited to be here, and we're totally down. You want to talk about Dead Drop? We could talk about Dead Drop all night.
Oh, that's why I'm here. I flew in specifically for this. I was in the middle of a food tour throughout the heart of Texas and as far as Texas you can go, but I knew that I had to be here specifically for this. And I haven't had my chance to get on the sticks. I get text from a certain somebody showing me certain iterations of it. And he, it'll never leave this phone. So you're good.
Okay.
Trust.
Trust it.
Long history there. Obviously, 402, you need no introduction, but please do.
Yeah, I mean, I've been in the industry for a while. Started with Call of Duty, and luckily that was very successful for me. And then stuck around despite everyone's best efforts. I stuck around. But yeah, I mean, listen, I got to work with Doc back in MW3 days, and once he called me up and wanted to sort of dive back into game development, I said, "You're fucking crazy. We're not doing it. We're not going to do it again. I haven't touched first-person shooters for decades for a reason. It's hard.
Yeah,
making a first-person shooter, especially in this day and age when the scene is so competitive, you need an infinite amount of money." You need the best developers in the world.
Which the Doc has, yeah.
And you need, a reason. You need an angle. What is it? We're not going to make another military shooter. That's for sure. So I sat down with him, and we talked about it. And, he had this idea of a vertical extraction shooter, this tower. Everything was in its infancy. These interconnecting sectors. And, hearing it out, I was getting fucking hyped. I was like, I could see this. But that solves one problem. All right, we have an angle. Now we need a team, right? And first person I called was Quinn, because he was coming off Halo Infinite, which at its foundational element, right? The single player, and they were doing a lot of things right with that. I'm not gonna get into
That's fine.
after launch.
Hey, it's all good. We're good.
But
Don't sweat it, man. You keep going.
but tear him down.
Yeah.
But called Quinn up, gave him the spiel, and I was like, you need to get out of there.
Yeah.
You need to get out of there, come here, let's do this.
Yeah. No, I remember that vividly. It was, it was a little over a year ago. It was around Thanksgiving time. I was like, man, I'm supposed to be sitting down with my family and eating some turkey and all that kind of stuff. And then I got Rob over here, chirping in my ear, as he always does. He's a good chirper, right? And he was talking to me. He's like, hey, we should do this. We got something big going on. I was like, all right, man. Well, I don't usually like to entertain stuff, but I'll entertain you, man.
Yeah,
right, let's talk about this. So yeah, then we just got into it, and he told me about the everything that he just said about how Doc's involvement and the universe that we were trying to build. And I was like, you know what? I could help assemble a team, and we could execute on something like that. And so then from that point in, we've been going 1,000 miles an hour just to get to where we are today. And it's incredible how much we've come in just over a year.
I'm actually excited to talk to you guys about this because I always, as much shit as I talk about some video games, I always give props to the developers in the ability to be able to create a universe in which gravity exists, quantum mechanics, algebra, everything that's out there, right? You throw a grenade a certain way, it's going to fall in a certain trajectory. So the amount of zeros and ones and zeros in a coordinated, sort of setting to make this work of art, which it is an interactive work of art that we get to experience by jumping in there, right? We get in there, and I want to talk about not only just the concept of it, but where does a concept like that begin, and what are some of the first steps? Like you mentioned getting a team together. Like, where do you begin?
Oh man, where? Yeah. So I mean, when we founded the studio and all came together, the four of us, and like, well, once we got the key pieces of us four, we're like, okay, well now we got to build a team. Where do we begin? And honestly, we were just pulling together all the people we know in the industry, because Rob's got a lot of industry experience. Guy is super well connected, not just in game development, just in games, right? Just he's super connected. Sumit is well connected across. So we just combined all of our efforts and our minds thinking about that, and we're like, okay, where do we want to start? Well, what is the world of Dead Drop? Dead Drop is this dark world. It's this crazy, violent, this gritty experience. And I was just thinking, well, in order to execute on that, we got to have a really good artistic vision. So that's where, hire number one for me was trying to get that art director. And I felt like we nailed that. We got Darren Bacon, incredible art director. And so he has come on board. He has done all sorts of amazing things for us. And so then when that happened, then I unleashed him to go after not only just the art style and to establish it and to work with Guy, myself, and Rob. Then who are the other people, the key pieces, right? Because we got to assemble this team. So then he went after the art side. And then from there, we're like, well, you can't build a game, like you said, like grenades, the physics, everything that's going in there, all those ones and zeros. Well, we've got to get an incredible engineering team as well. So it's this weird combination of all of the places we've worked in those games. It's Halo, it's Call of Duty, it's all of these different games, these big time IPs all brought together, and the team is pretty much made up of this Voltron force of Call of Duty and Halo.
Yeah, because the thing is, it's like making a game. Like, we all have made a lot of games. On this team, we've all made a lot of games. We've been involved in a lot of developments. We understand the core logistics of how to design and develop and ship a big AAA game, right? But to make a good game, it requires, it's the same as an esports team. It requires a chemistry, a communication style, a shorthand that you can work with each other at a fast pace, and you don't need a lot of explanation. We all speak the same language. And specifically with Dead Drop, a vertical extraction shooter is unlike anything else. It's a combination of multiple genres, right? Where Call of Duty, you can have arena shooters, you can have battle royales. This is kind of a mixture of both, because we have the scale and scope of a battle royale, right? 100+ players. I was going to see if he reacted to that.
I did.
100+ players in a tower, 7 sectors, right? But those sectors play more like arena maps, right? They're just interconnected. So you sort of need both of those design philosophies. And I had a sort of unspoken rule at the beginning of building this studio, which is I want only people that somebody in this room has been in the trenches with. Mm-hmm. Have you shipped a game with them? Have you shipped multiple games with them? Can you speak specifically, this dude is good at this. This girl's amazing at this, right? I want targeted, specific talents to build this, because we are building a very specific, targeted thing. So we weren't looking to fill seats, right? I was like, I will spend 15 years on this game if I have to. Mm-hmm. We got extremely lucky because, like you said, our network is deep. Our bench is deep. Doc's reach is deep. So we were able to go for the people that we wanted, call them up, say, quit your job today because we're not waiting. Mm-hmm. And let's do this. And luckily, every single person we made that call to said yes. Otherwise, we would not be here right now in your arena at this production quality in 12 months. It wouldn't be possible.
Yeah. Those are the type of people we're going after.
The amount of work that's right. Well deserved. So Darren is the guy that I got to talk to about getting my graffiti into the game.
Yes,
right?
sir. 100%.
Perfect. I did tell
He
Doc.
would love to talk to you.
I told Doc that if I see graffiti on there and it's not mine, he and I are done. Okay.
Oh no.
No, I'm kidding. I didn't say that. I would never.
Don't play SS5 then.
All right. So listen, I appreciate obviously you guys being here, the transparency behind it. All right. So you gather this team.
Yeah.
no, you don't need an army. You need a team of specialized mercenaries, right?
Yes.
Once you have this team together, is it the art that comes first, or the storyline that comes first? Where do you begin to sort of puzzle piece this art together?
Yeah, that's a great question because it's, in a way, it is exactly to the DNA of what Midnight Society is. And that is, not only are we just building this game with just these talented men and women in the trenches, it's also the players. And we're being open development. And a lot of those players, you see them here today. Mm-hmm. And so that's what we're excited about. So to your question is, like, we have active dialogue with our players. And we're here today not because we just shipped the game. The game isn't out. We're far from it. We're super early in development. But we are doing what we said we are going to do and have these snapshots. And this is our 5th one. And we release these for our players to interact with us, engage with us. And then from there, it helps us because when Rob talks about, hey, our deep bench and all these things, in a way, he's dancing around the fact that there's a lot of risk when you set out to do something. We are negating a lot of that risk as much as we can because we are making a game for the players, right? We want to listen to what they say. So when it comes to this snapshot, we're going to get so much feedback that we would get than if we just sat on it. And we're like, okay, we're going to wait another year until we get this, and let's do this. Yeah. And we're in dark, we're secret, and doing all these kind of things. No, we get it out there. We're going to see what they say. What do they think about? Do they want to see lore next? Do they want to see what kind of features do they want? And so in a way, we have our ideas and our guiding light that we go towards, but the players have huge impact on the directions that we want to pivot as a team. So that's pretty much our main philosophy that differentiates us.
Yeah, and I don't want to underestimate how huge of a difference that is in how we build the game, right? Because we have all been a part of the traditional way where, maybe one person, like a really powerful creative director or game director, or maybe a collection of a small brain trust, are going to sit down and they're going to plot out, like, okay, here's the game, here's the feature sets we need for that game. They're going to write milestone deliverables that are approved by the publisher 2 years in advance, and then they get on that track and they're just knocking it out, right? They're going down that checklist and making tasks. And they pivot and stuff. But it's such an archaic way of making games because what you end up doing is you're designing in a bubble that you are sort of internally all sort of playtesting and seeing. And then you get 2 years down the line, you ship it, and the community, the players are like, this fucking sucks. Like, this ain't great, right? For this reason you didn't foresee.
Don't I know it?
Right. And so that is the key thing that I wanted to eliminate.
Yeah.
Right? And so we do not write 2 years worth of milestone deliverables. Instead, we're like, hey, we're making a first-person shooter. It takes place in a sector. All right, let's get a gun in there ASAP. Let's get some gunplay in there, and let's hand it off to the players. Mm-hmm. There's not a lot to feedback on, but you can talk about reloads and animations, right? And play, first snapshot, the biggest feedback was, these animations suck. There's no animation. It's like, yeah, we don't have an animator yet. And luckily, Henry over there shows up to the LA Founders event, our first event, and he comes up fresh off of Oscar-winning Avatar 2. Look at that cowboy over there, looking good. Fresh off Avatar 2, hasn't yet won his Oscar, about to do, right? Future Oscar winner, comes up in the LA Founders event. He's already a variant. He got a founder pass. He showed up. He walks up to us and says, hey, your animations suck. I could do better.
Ooh.
Like, who do I talk to about that? And I'm like, you're talking to him, baby.
Yeah.
You're talking to him. Now, within, a couple weeks, on the team, redoing all the reload animations, redoing all the weapon animations. Now you can see all of his work in Snapshot 5. Like, we would not have been able to do that if we weren't releasing builds, getting feedback, getting the attentions of people like Henry's of the world, right? Despite that ridiculous outfit he's wearing.
Yeah.
Still works.
It does work. He's in Texas. It works here.
Yeah, it does. Henry can make most things work, though. I'll give him that.
He's got the mustache. He's got it all figured out. I haven't seen the boots yet, though. But if they're not pointy, I don't want to see them. All right. So what's your favorite part of the process? And then I'm going to ask you what's the favorite part of the game thus far for you.
So favorite part of the process? Honestly, it's one of the things that was scary, like the scariest thing that has since become my favorite part is that just the fact that this game team is all remote. We're 100% remote. And so we work from all over the country. and in a way that is super powerful and great to attract people that you don't need to live in a certain area to come to a brick and mortar place to work with us. But the other part is, because Rob, we've talked about this, is we've done the traditional game development where you're in the trenches, physically in the trenches. So that was the scary part. But since then, I am amazed at this team and how much camaraderie we are able to have and the trust we are able to build just remote, right?
Yeah.
Working on Discord and all the different things like that. We're going into playtest lab, we're yucking it up, we're having all sorts of fun together. It's almost as if we're there.
Yeah.
So to me, that's been like the favorite part of the process is this crazy adventure of, man, I've never done this remote thing before. I don't know about this. But Rob was like, no, trust me, man. It's going to be sweet. Trust me. And then he's been right. It's been a lot of fun.
Part of the interruption, I know that you guys were enjoying the conversation that we were having about the game Eavesdrop by Midnight Society. I'm super excited for my friend, the Doc. Congratulations on such a good game. Hopefully it continues to evolve and become one of the best games that's ever been created. With that in mind, I do want to say thank you to our sponsor this episode. It's HECZ. HECZ is the perfect snack for gamers because it offers a mess-free way to satisfy their cravings. Look out for HECZ Extra Toasty and Extra Cheesy to give you that extra kick when you are playing. And also, hands-free. It's a very good hands-free snack that keeps them super, super clean. Our other sponsor for this week is none other than HelloFresh. So you guys know HelloFresh has been around for a very long time. Big, big partner of the Eavesdrop. When we get our HelloFresh delivered here, Maddie and I split it. He takes it home. He does with it what he does, which is eat it. I do the same. Make mealtime easy with delicious recipes made with fresh, wholesome ingredients delivered to your door. No lines, no hassle, just great tasting meals. You can whip up and enjoy the comfort from your own home. And you know what? March is the National Nutrition Month, and HelloFresh is going to make it easy for you to choose delicious dietitian-approved meals. Simply look for the Dietitian Win tag on their menu of choices for meals under 700 calories and with 1/3 less sodium. HelloFresh has 40 weekly recipes for you to choose from for all meals, occasions, lifestyles, and preferences. The ingredients are already pre-proportioned, so all you have to do is cook it and enjoy. HelloFresh makes it easy to eat what you love. Customize the select meals by swapping proteins, sides, or even adding protein to a veggie dish. And now you can even upgrade for organic chicken, organic ground beef on select meals. Because with HelloFresh, you're getting seasonal ingredients picked at peak ripeness for quality you can taste. Ingredients travel from farm to your home in less than 7 days, so you know they are fresh. Obviously when I get home and Jude isn't home, I don't have time to cook. I don't have time to go grocery store. I want to be as efficient as possible with my time. And if I want to eat a nutritious meal or watch what I'm eating and not be, what I usually am and eat like an adult, I usually go into my fridge, get some HelloFresh, cook them, super easy to make, and it comes with a variety of choices, which is something that we all need. And right now, if you go to HelloFresh.com/HECZ60, that is H3CZ60, and use code HECZ60, again, that's H3CZ60 for 60% off, plus free shipping. So again, I'm going to leave the link in the description down below, but if you want to, you can go to HelloFresh.com/HECZ60, H3CZ60, and use code HECZ60 for 60% off, plus free shipping. Again, that is H3CZ60. And last but not least, we have Dad Grass. So, because if you have ever been just too damn high, and we've all been there, certainly I have, with today's weed, finding your perfect dose can be dangerous game. And by that, it'll be dangerously fun to find something that is just normal for you to enjoy. So if you need something a little bit tamer, something that you can, sort of step up in your weed game a little bit, Dadgrass offers that solution for you. If you ever had those nights where the day just plays on and plays on, the redundancy of the day being the same thing over and over again, and you don't necessarily have the ability to fall asleep as quickly as you'd like to for you to be able to wake up in the morning refreshed and ready to go, Dadgrass offers that opportunity for you to just take a nice little toke, go to sleep, go night-night, have sweet dreams, and wake up without that after feeling in the morning. Drink lots of water. It would be my number one combatant to feeling like groggy in the morning. If you take a nice glass of water in the evening right before you go to sleep, and then you take another one right before you get up, you're gonna feel great. But Dadgrass is legal, organic, smokable hemp that relaxes your body and mellows your mind. They're 100% organic. Pre-rolled joints have a very low THC level and a high CBD level, so you can enjoy the effects of cannabis while keeping a clear head. Chill out without getting stoned to the bone. It's like having a glass of wine, but not the whole bottle. Not looking to toke? Dadgrass also offers the finest tinctures and gummies in the market. All the mellow goodness, no smoke required. All That Grass products are federally legal for ages 18 and over, and it ships right to your door anywhere in the United States. Right now, Dadgrass is offering our listeners 20% off your first order when you go to dadgrass.com/hex. Again, go to dadgrass.com/hex for 20% off your first order. Link will be in the description down below. Take a load off. And now, back to the interview with 402 and my man Quinn from Midnight Society.
Is it because you knew that the level of self-accountability that these passionate people, stemming across the United States, elsewhere?
Yeah. We have a few international devs.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, the level of accountability that somebody puts on themselves when they're passionate about a project, I think they go above and beyond to make sure that not only are they doing what they're supposed to do, but going a little bit above and beyond to make sure that everybody who's not, overlooking or being in the trenches with them on a daily basis gets to see that, we're here to work and we're here to play hard because this is a game that needs that level of commitment because it is an incredible idea. When I first started talking to Doc about it, the concept of self, I'm like, okay, so it's a tower extraction, and the second he explained it, I'm like, it made so much sense to me. What about you? What is your favorite part of the process for you?
Of the process for me, it has been
It's me, right?
It's not you.
Oh.
You're close.
Okay,
Close
okay.
fourth.
All right.
By
Close
far.
Fourth. Okay.
For me, it's been this. Like, no joke. I have been advocating for open development for so long, and I'm not going to lie, it's a harder way to make games, right? We're killing it right now. It's working out, but it is definitely a harder way to make games because we have no secrets. There is no, there's no NDAs. There's no, we can't talk about that. It's literally like everything we do, we put it out there. And I like that because it gives us the opportunity to fail fast and fail early in game development, which you normally don't get a chance. I have been part of many really great games that never shipped, right? You spend years of your life working on something, putting a lot of sweat and tears on it. It never ships for a million reasons, right? Funding falls out. A publisher doesn't approve a milestone. There's a million reasons games fail. With this, we don't have that problem because we already have the engagement. We already have the people playing it. We get gut checked all the time, and we get to experiment, right?
Yeah.
Like, I came in one day, and I was like, man, this game is set in like a 80s, or like late 80s, early 90s vibe. Like, in those movies, everybody has like a car that they identify with. Like, we need like a vehicle. We need like a car that you can build, and like it's part of your thing. And Quinn's like, yeah, that sounds cool. we start building out the garage. We throw it in there. Like, we haven't got to the car gameplay yet, right? But we throw it in there and see how these guys react.
Car game?
Dude, that's what I'm saying. This guy is just throwing out all sorts of stuff.
I like that. What I will say, and the crowd can help me out on this, doesn't it feel good that you guys all have a hand in building a game because of the input that you're giving them? Is that not what video games are, but a community that people can come together and work on something as passionately as this? Favorite part about the game so far? We'll save the cars for him.
Yeah, apparently.
I'm apparently not allowed to fucking talk about it.
His favorite part about the game will be something that's not even revealed yet. So, or something that we haven't even signed up to do. So that's something that Rob.
Don't
is
worry
good
about
at.
my favorites. All right? You focus on your favorite.
Okay, I'll focus on my thanks, Boo. Yeah, so my favorite thing about the game, honestly, is some of just the movement. The stuff that we have in the game is because it's a very vertical game. And we have put stuff in there, like our movement is mainly level design based. We haven't done a lot of tricks and things that are intrinsic ways that players can move around. Like, we're not doing jetpacks or, jump jets on your feet or everyone has a grapple hook or anything like that. Everything, if you want to get around this environment, you have to really take that into account. So for me, it's the identity of the environment and the movement the player can make based on their knowledge of the map. And therefore, we use this term, classic, it's almost like a term that has died out a lot, is map control. Map control in power positions is a thing in Dead Drop, and it's great. And so players need to take that into account, not only the players that they have to fight, but where do they get to the certain positions and when they get to those positions. So that, to me, there's a lot of a thinking person's kind of game in Dead Drop.
Yeah. For me, it's the extractions, right? Like, besides Tarkov, I hadn't really had a ton of experience in extraction shooters, right? To me, I was like in the very like focused, normal, like, oh, I come in, I'm here to win it. I'm here to kill everybody else and be the last person standing. And extractions like just have introduced this whole other element of like, oh, I could go in and do some like quick runs, like go in, grab some really valuable stuff, and then if it gets too heated and I don't have the loadout for it, like, oh, I'm gonna bone out, right? And like the sort of design philosophy and the strategy that goes into those different types of extractions, because like all extractions are not created equally, right? Like you have some that are like super high risk. It's like, yeah, it's close, but like there's a ton of sight lines to it, right? So I could probably easily get sniped if there is a sniper out there. Where other ones are like, oh, it's very easy and low risk to get out, but I have to find it, right? It's procedurally in a different location every single time. I have to search it out. So there's like it's low risk, but there's a chance I might never ever find it, right? And then there are the other ones that like, oh, multiple people could use this, but I'd have to negotiate. I have to use proximity chat, negotiate, be like, hey, how about both of us go out? We'll both get out alive, right? And that is my favorite thing. My second, proximity chat. Using it for those purposes, right? Anybody who has played with me in this community already or on the team knows that I try to negotiate immediately.
Okay.
As soon as I hear somebody running out, I'm like, chill. Let's work this out. Let's figure out what's going on here. And then the moment they lower their gun, then I'll kill them.
Yeah.
And then I'll take the stuff and I'll extract
That's
out.
nice.
Yeah.
That's nice. Yeah.
Yeah. But I love that ability to communicate. and
So now you guys
strategize.
know. Second negotiation starts. Start firing.
Yeah, especially if you hear 402's voice on the other side.
I'll mask it.
Okay.
The only person who doesn't negotiate is Doc, I've noticed.
Yeah.
In every play, if somebody's not responding back to me, then I run because I know
It's him.
it's him.
He'll start whistling.
He won't talk until after you're dead.
Well,
And then he'll say something.
one time he did it to me. He said, he was talking to me. He's like, do you want this to end fast or slow? How do you want this to go?
That's not even a negotiation.
He said that to me. And I was like, oh, and then I ran away.
What's Doc's involvement in all this? Obviously, brainchild of his.
Yeah.
But what is his daily or weekly, monthly involvements?
Yeah, so he is definitely, I would say, so we have quite a few recurring meetings with him. We do a lot to try to keep him involved, but, he's super busy. He's got a lot of irons in many different fires, whether, it's his streams or, throwing passes to George Kittle at 49ers training camp.
What a
those kind of
throw,
things.
right?
Yeah, that was pretty good. So, he's got all sorts of things going on, but we really try to get him in as much as possible because his feedback is crucial because he is gaming all the time. And obviously the team is a bunch of gamers, but not necessarily to that level of like it is your job to be gaming and to be entertaining. And so the understanding and knowledge he brings to the table of what is viewable, watchability, streams, how do you have a game that has the right pacing so if you are a streamer, you can actually interact. Like you look at classic arena shooters, it's like you can't really interact because you just got your mouth open and you're staring at the screen because respawn, die, respawn. And so all those kind of things he brings to the table. Mm-hmm. But then on top of that, what's great is he does a lot of challenges as well. Because he has the right balance of he's involved, but he's not too involved. Mm-hmm. So when he comes and gets involved, he's got fresh eyes again.
Yeah.
So it's like from fresh eyes perspective, it's like, hey, what's this all about? I'm like, oh, we don't see that because we've been dev blind.
Yeah.
Right? Because we've gotten close to something.
Of course, and the good thing about that is that he does not hold back on his opinions as he displays almost on a daily basis on Twitter. The amount of opinions a passionate person has is always obviously going to have it's a double-edged sword, right? You're going to either like it or not like it, but since it is something that he's so passionate about, that it's coming from a good place, and he wants to see the success of this game, his baby, become something. Cool. And also, you need him out there, right? You need him to continue to build his presence. You need him to continue to be who he is, entertaining the masses, so that when this thing drops, that everybody is there. I'll be there. Sort of collaborating with him on this beautiful journey.
Yeah.
What else do you guys want to tell me about the game? What is one thing that you, or two, or three, that you want me to ask?
To ask us?
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
See, I switch it up on you. What do you want to tell everybody here about the game? And one can go before the other.
Yeah. I mean, I want to be able to tell everyone here about essentially where we are in the process, because this is one big thing, and it's great to see all this and what we've done in a year. But to be clear, this is this is pre-alpha where we're at, and it's super early. And there's a lot of things that the team is proud of and we're excited about, but we're not done.
No.
Like, we've got a long way to go, and that's not a bad thing. We are excited about that. Like,
about
we're
the journey.
excited. Yeah, exactly. We're excited about it. And even to Rob said, like, hey, it doesn't matter how long it's going to take us to make this game, because we are making it alongside the players. And that, to me, is something that's super excited. And I want to make sure that everyone here in this room, and also people that are listening on this podcast, that they know that we are not complacent. We are not done. We are here to stay, and we're going to be doing this the right way and making sure that the players love the game that we're making for them.
Look at that. I'm excited about the digital items that you can put into your bank. Are those, obviously answer if you can, are those transferable between accounts?
Are you talking about items in the game?
You know, you see Counter-Strike, Dragon Lore, $112,000 just got sold, right?
Yeah.
It went into someone's bank. Super happy about it. I want to feel that. If I was able to have my sniper rifle from Call of Duty 4, right, in which I dominated shipment with, the one that's tattooed on here, if I can have that one, right, throughout all of my Call of Duties, and be able to use that weapon through all of the Call of Duties, that would be such a feature that would just, like, you know, give me some sentimental memories about it, right?
Yeah, even better if that rifle that you've been using through all of those Call of Duties has all of that history attached to it in it, right? So you can look at it, you can expand details, you can see, like, oh, I used that to win that major, I got these kills, right? Like, there's certain metadata you could attach to those weapons. Having ownership over the things that you buy in game and have in game is the only reason we've even investigated all of that stuff, right? Because that is what I care about. And so we're spending a lot of time. Like, it's not going to be something we worry about now in, like, builds like this, because right now we're focused on the core gameplay stuff, but it's part of the grand vision. We want, like, hey, if you get something killer that you own, it's yours. And you can do whatever you want with it. That's the use case.
I love that.
That's the thing that we care about most. The rest of the stuff that people get up in arms about, like speculation and all this other stuff,
100%.
is not what it's about.
Yeah, those are the kind of people that are just there for the wrong reasons, right? The hardcore gamers that are here to collect the way that I collect are the ones that are going to be the ones that drive this, and it'll be really easy to identify the people who are here for the wrong reasons. Sorry, you were saying?
No, that's exactly right, and that is what we've already started doing, right? And, like, everybody here who is a founder has a variant, and every variant has a visor cortex. And now every visor cortex is going to be in game. It's your in-game identity. You're going to see it. You're going to have that, right? That is exactly the type of thing we're talking about. Now just take that mentality and apply it to your weapons, your gear, your customization options, the things that you have that are core to your identity as a player, right?
What worries me about that is that some team owners out there are going to say, Dashy, take my sniper rifle and play this whole match with this and then give it back to me. Right. You know, so that I can say that you played with my sniper rifle, you won something. Speaking of that, do you guys have any plans for the esports side of this thing? Is that still conversational, ideation, or definitely on the path?
I mean, we've talked about it for sure. I mean, there's a lot of.
If I may, the reason that I asked that is because from the beginning, right? And you can pick Call of Duty, Halo, whatever, Counter-Strike even. Developers and artists created this piece of artwork, right? That people are interacting with. It was us, the gamers, that turned it into a spectator sport, and then waited for the developers to sort of catch on to that.
Same thing with Call of Duty.
Yeah, same thing with Call of Duty. So that's the reason that I'm asking, because I know that you guys are creating something that a piece of artwork that we're going to be able to interact with, create memories on, have ownership over that. So not to turn it into something super serious, but you know, gaming is.
No, I mean, I remember those early conversations when, like, all the esports guys would roll through Infinity Ward and they're pushing for features for competitive, right? Pushing for features for Hastro would come in and be like, oh, can we have this, this, and this, right? Always would get pushback. And the reason was they looked at it at the time of like, oh, well, esports is like 10% of our audience, and we really need to focus on features for the 90%. And it was whatever, right? So I feel like we've taken that to heart, and we're like, listen, it's not about augmenting Dead Drop to be an esports game. Let's assume from day one that the esports component of Dead Drop is going to be its own dedicated thing, right? That feeds off of everything we're doing with Dead Drop. So what we want to do is we want to bring in all the esports personalities, the athletes, the team owners, the players, everybody who's involved in that scene, and give them the tools to craft Dead Drop into what is the best competitive experience. Because the best competitive version of Dead Drop is going to be drastically different than what the pubs are playing.
Yep.
And that's okay.
Yep.
Right? And so what we are doing is and we'll talk about it a little bit in the show, but what we are doing is we're giving that control over to the community to have control over that environment to make it exactly what they need instead of being, stuck to our calls.
Yes.
And so that is our sort of focus. But we definitely see it. The one definitive thing is we see it as its own dedicated thing and not trying to make the casuals competitive and then all of that stuff.
Yeah. No, I think in a way, Hex, you kind of answered the question the way I was going to answer it, and that is, one of our philosophies is that you don't choose esports, and esports chooses you.
Love that.
And what that means is like, you know what? We're not going out of our way to make like a hardcore esport game. That's not because we don't like that stuff. It's because we want to make a game that is super fun, super engaging, lots of interest with it, and all the loops, everything is super fun to play. And then because it's super popular, you're always going to have a portion of the audience is like, well, how do we make this more competitive, right?
Yeah.
How do we make this the esports side of that? But you don't get that if you're trying to like make a game that's like super hardcore out the gate. It's like, no. Let the people that know best about that stuff to really come up with that. Our job is to make something that changes the industry, changes the world, and gets everyone excited to play this game, right? So if we do that, and if we're successful in that, like the Call of Duties, the Halos, whatever, any game you name that becomes super popular, there's always a portion of players that want to try to make it into an esport. The difference with us, we want to embrace that. That's fine. But our number one goal is let's make that game that's incredible, and then let's see what audience wants to talk about making a more competitive aspect of that game.
Love to hear that. Obviously, Doc, you have been a very big supporter of esports and what it needs in order for it to become the sport that it can be. I appreciate the fact that you're not going and catering specifically to that, because that is a path that some developers have taken, and this is more you guys allowing the game itself to develop and take the path that it needs to take, because there is an element of the game developing into what it is. So you can guide it, but at the end of the day, the audience, the community are the ones that are going to be the driving factors as to what this thing becomes, whether it's a serious thing for them or that. And having the ability to have the choice of that is a beautiful thing. So I commend you guys for that. Look, I don't want to hold it up anymore. I think that it's time for us to say goodbye. I do appreciate you guys. I have more questions that I'll ask offline, but I certainly appreciate the transparency. I'm sure they appreciate the transparency, and looking forward to playing Snapshot number 5 for me for the first time. And I love it. All right, everybody, all of the information for Dead Drop is going to be listed in the description down below. Please do check them out and sign up for all the news and everything. Their personal information will also be in the description. Be sure to follow them for updates. And yeah, boys, thank you so much for joining us. Let's play some Dead Drop.
Let's do it.
Thank you, everybody.